Namaste everyone, good morning. Welcome to our weekend series of the Sutra Talks. And as you know that we are doing the Sutra Talks, but in a very practical manner, that we are studying it, that how to apply them in our real life. And the Sutra which we have for today is the merit of teaching the Sutra. But here we have our guide and mentor who will share with us the practical application for that. And I would like to welcome Dr. Savera here. Good morning, Rajesh sir.
Yeah, good morning, Dhruv.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining this time. And we are doing the Sutra talks. And here, the Sutra which you have shared is about the Sutra holds the secret to the great team building aspect of it. And we would like to discover that how is it so with you. And for that, we have a flow that first we'll practice, then we'll read the Sutra, then we go to where you share the insight with us, and then if there are any questions we take, or else we will end the session there.
Yeah,
Yeah. So we go for the practice first.
okay.
So we'll directly move on to the verses as we have almost
Yeah.
covered up most of the fun
Before
facts.
that, Dhruv,
Yeah, yeah.
we forgot the fun fact.
Yeah, yeah, you have, because last time you said that we have almost covered. So,
Yeah, but
but I think there would be,
I
you must have find. So can you share
yeah,
the
so
fun fact?
I wanted to share one fun fact, when I was just reading through, that it's being said that the sutra, it was basically talking about shunyata, right? The whole sutra talks about shunyata, the emptiness concept. But you see, it's not using the word technically zero. But they know there is something that is beyond numbers that cannot be counted, that doesn't have something. But infinity is what they were trying to say. But on the other side, the infinity also has a side of nothingness, nothingness, but it still exists. It has its presence. So this was, it said that this word of emptiness, was the basis on which the number zero came into existence. It's like when you look at the reflecting the period when Indian mathematics were just being explored into nothingness. Okay, before the advent of zero, this sutra was already being expounded. So this is what the some of the fun facts say. So you can understand the idea here is that the concept of zero is not absolutely nothing. The concept of zero means everything also. If you add it to little things, it increases that value. So non-attachment and non-discrimination can increase the value of everything, and that is the essence of this Diamond Sutra. It is considered to be predating the concept of zero also.
Okay, so like it's like that they're saying uh, more of a no, but can you this is very mathematical term. Like, can you explain in a very practical manner? We
So
get the
when I
point that
say
when you say, but these are two It's always said the same, two different sides of the same coin, but like when it comes to application, then how so?
So when it comes up to zero, when you say you put zero effort, means people think zero effort means doing nothing.
Hmm.
Zero effort means there should be no struggle. Action should continue. When you're driving a car, okay, if you are struggling, you're putting effort.
Hmm.
When it becomes effortless means now you've mastered and you have now zero effort put into something. It has become automated, it has become magical, it has become self doing. That is the key. When your basic nature is effortless, you don't have to practice Panchashil because you want to practice them. You put effort into doing that. But when it becomes a natural quality of yours, that is what shunya is. That is what zero is. Zero means there is nothing more to be questioned about or asked about. And can we start from here? Like when you go to a petrol pump and you see zero zero, it doesn't mean there's going to be no petrol. It's saying that everything is settled. There is no question. There is everything is very transparent. Can I start from here? And the answer is yes. Now you can start. But if there was any number before that, then you cannot start. So usually what our mind does is mind has this habit of thinking based on a previous experience or a concept. And hence that thinking, that concept leads you to a situation where you start thinking of what was already there. So that thinking that you have currently is branched out from the previous one. But can you go into a process of thinking which is non-conceptual? Okay, at that very moment, not based on the previous thing. So non-attachment, non-discrimination should be the basis on which you do not conceptualize your thinking patterns.
Amazing. Now I think so it is pretty much clear that what you're trying to talk about, that having that non-conceptualization of things, otherwise that limits you always. And
Yeah.
because you shared recently also that don't go into something which is uncertain with certainty. Otherwise you'll always you'll be preparing for a failure itself.
Absolutely. If you go into darkness thinking there is these steps, that I will climb, but you cannot see them. What is your guarantee that there are steps?
Hmm.
You cannot see them. You're entering into darkness. So you go into darkness, that is uncertainty with uncertainty. That means with more carefulness, being aware, more awareness. But if you are actually able to see things clearly, if you are able to do things clearly, if you have already know things, that doesn't need uncertainty, that needs certainty. You don't then go into being casual, careless. You should then continue what you are doing the best, right? So the things that are done and they give you a result, repeat them again and again so that you master it.
Hmm.
And things that you have not done, go and attempt it so that you learn it. You will always fail in the attempts that you will do of the thing that you don't know, and that's fine. Failure
Hmm.
is okay. For the things that you don't know and you're trying to do, if you fail, you're learning. But if you know and you still are failing, that means you're doing something wrong because you know it. It is something that you have done before. Now you have to master it. So in the things that you know, you excel. In the things that you don't know, you explore.
Oh, beautiful. That is awesome. That things that you know you excel and which you don't know you explore makes it pretty clear. So I think now we can go to the verses of the day and then I'll just read it, and then after that we go, you can share the insight with us. So we are doing the merit of teaching the sutra. Here, Subhuti, if each grain of sand in the Ganges river represented a Ganges river, would the total of grains of sand in all those Ganges rivers be great? Subhuti said, extremely great, Bhagwan. Even though the number of all the Ganges rivers is countless, how much more are there grains of sand? Subhuti, truthfully, if a virtuous man or a virtuous woman filled numerous Trisahasra, Mahasahasra, Lokadhatu equal to the number of sands in all Ganges rivers with seven type of jewels, then gave them away as alms, dana, would their merit not be great? Extremely great, Bhagwan. The Buddha said to Subhuti, if a virtuous man or a virtuous woman is able to even memorize any four lines of verse from this sutra, and teach them to others, their merit will be greater than the almsgiver. Yeah. So this was the chapter 11.
Yeah. So let's understand why Dr. Lim named his merit of teaching the sutra.
Mm,
Because sometimes we feel, when we share some information, so where we tell somebody something, we share a skill set, there's nothing in it. But no, here there is even merit, the unseen merit of things. Like, see, when a season changes, we think it does nothing to the plants, but it's the season that decides what the plants go through, right? In the spring, this plants, they flower. Okay, so we know that the seasons, they do not directly have an impact as such that is visible, but there is some merit because of the season on the plant, right? There is some kind of effect that it is in. So when you look at your teaching and your association, so go back to the root where Buddha teaches us that what are the three jewels. He talks about, he's saying that the dharma, Buddha, the dharma, and the sangha are the three jewels. That means having the ability to see clearly. Second, having the understanding of the law that functions around. And third is to be a part of a team that thinks alike. These are the three things that will make things peaceful. Because if people are aligned with their thoughts, people think alike, they will never go into conflict. And when they will not go into conflict is only possible when they will see things clearly. That means they understand the nature of things, law, and that is dharma. And that is possible only and only when people can see clearly, again, based on the understanding of a great teacher. So they say that a society that has great teachers actually ends up becoming a great society. So civilizations have thrived on the basis of teachers who have taught. And here Buddha is one great teacher who's teaching us one of the most important aspect of human civilizations living, in harmony, so that we can grow and thrive, is peace and prosperity. And that's what Buddha is teaching us through the sutra. And in a conversation with Subhuti here, it is very clear. He's asking Subhuti, when you want to measure the grains of the Ganga, if each grain of the sand of in the Ganges river, represented a Ganga river, it's a very, very difficult thing to even think about this. That one grain itself is so difficult to hold on to. And imagine you take a handful of grain and you still count it, and now you count these grains, and now imagine counting all the grains within a Ganga river. It's impossible to count. So that's where your thinking crashes. And when you stop thinking there, you are in a new mode of experience where thoughts are not letting you decide something, and only pure experience remains. But is there an experience or not? Is there a stage where there is no more counting left, because it is too much for you to do that? It's not in your capacity. So you can go back to the slide and you'll see that it talks about, if each grain of sand in the Ganges river represented a Ganga river, would the total number of sand in all those Ganga rivers be great? Yes, Subhuti said. Extremely great, Bhagwan. Now remember, this is continuation of what adjectives he has used before, even for the explanation of Mount Sumeru. Is it great? Yes. Why great? Because you are saying so. Now here again, Subhuti is saying extremely great, Bhagwan. And Buddha knows that when he's saying extremely great, he's meant that Subhuti thinks it is extremely great. So Bhagwan says, even though, Subhuti continues, the number
Ex-
of all the Ganga rivers is countless. How much more are there grains of sand?
Sands.
So here the number of all the Ganges river is countless. How much more are there grains of sand? So here it is saying, if each grain of sand in the Ganga river represent a Ganga river, first that itself is so much. Now you calculate all the grains of all the Ganga rivers. It's an impossible thing. You cannot think. So that's too much to think. It's beyond your capacity, right? And now it's like taking a 2 GB pen drive, and I tell you, put in the whole, as of now, how many ever videos are there on YouTube, put that all into the 2 GB pen drive. You'd
Not
say
possible.
impossible, cannot be done, right? So similarly, like that, in a limited capacity of mind that we have, you want to understand some context and some things which is impossible for us to understand. So here Subhuti is making it very clear, they are very like nearly impossible for us to even imagine such a thing. Okay, then Buddha says, Subhuti, truthfully, if a virtuous man or a virtuous woman filled numerous Trisahasra Mahasastra Lokadhatu, equal to the number of sands in all the Ganges rivers with seven types of jewels. First, you cannot imagine how much it is. Second, if a good person, a virtuous man and a virtuous woman who practice the Panchashila, who is not using the factors of differentiation and discrimination, but doing it without that, selflessly, engage in the work, if he is able to share what he has acquired, even the seven types of jewels which are considered the precious of all, if you are filling up everything with the seven types of jewels and then gave them away, means how much did he give? He used the existence as a measuring container, filled it up and said, okay, I give all this to you. Okay, and would that merit be great? So again, Buddha is asking him. Okay, then he's saying extremely great again, Bhagwan. The Buddha said to Subhuti, go to the next slide. Okay, if a virtuous man and a virtuous woman is able to even memorize any four lines of verse from this sutra and teach them to others, their merit will be greater than the alms giver. Now that means he's saying that if you have anything in mind, if you have made a container of something, you have filled it up, and you have decided to give this. So, giving that material thing and even teaching four verses from this sutra on the merits that you can acquire by teaching is greater than what you can give in terms of material. That is why a very famous quote that says that it is better to teach fishing than to give somebody fish,
Mm.
right? Because fishing will give him a lifetime of opportunity to find fish for himself, food for himself. But if you just give him a fish, it can feed him only for a day or two. So always remember, teaching is the greatest and the greatest of the danas. Then more so than all the danas material you can give. So, and everybody here is a teacher. You cannot say that somebody cannot be a teacher. Everybody is a teacher. Everybody is here to better somebody else. Okay, and sometimes somebody does wrong in life, has gone through all the worst experiences. Can he become a great teacher? Yes. I would like to share an example of Frank Abagnale. If you've seen the movie Catch Me If You Can,
Mm.
at a very early age, he turned out to become the greatest crook, who looted the American Airlines also with so much money and all those things. And he was like a fraudster. But what did he do at a time when he was caught, when he was still, a child, and he had committed enormous crimes, but the government at that time asked him, and he agreed to change. He became a part of the government system of identifying frauds and fraudulent activities using his skill set. So even a crook like him became a great teacher and a guide to help others identify crooks like him. So you can understand that there is no one who cannot be a good teacher. The only thing, the quality that you require is virtuosity, the virtuous man and virtuous woman. That means you should be the follower of Panchashil. Panchashil means those five qualities that consider you to become a human first, and then you teach in the human realm.
Yeah, this is somewhat like the Angulimala story, the Frank
Yes.
Abagnale.
So this is the beauty of it. So when it comes up to teams, when you like the
Yeah,
title today is how do you build great teams?
great
Great teams
teams.
are built when you keep on teaching them. You keep on bringing the best people to with the best people and let them interact with each other so that they all share their best qualities with them, and together they build up some great organizations. So the greatest job of a great teacher is to bring in the great students together. And when the great students come together, they do great things. The only thing you should understand as a great teacher is to make sure that there is non discrimination within an organization. there is non-differentiation within an organization, and you will see the organization flourish. Your job is to make sure there is no kind of an accident between two egoistic minds. And if they can work together in harmony, they can act as catalysts to bring about a definitive and transformative change in an organization.
Yeah, amazing. I think you even concluded that how this sutra is more applicable to even the part, it makes clear because we started with the chapter itself that this was the secret to building great teams, but we see that how non-discrimination and even the idea that first we begin with non-conceptualization, how it becomes gives you the base that how then possibilities are limitless, and then because the are limitless and there everybody is a teacher, and even the worst kind we may think, we may feel that he is the greatest crook of all time, but even he is a great teacher. The only thing that they need, I think you shared the key was to follow the panchashila.
Yeah, you need to have some qualities for a
Hmm.
teacher, right? And the basic qualities, you should have some human qualities, right? And that Panchashila is the basic criteria, that you shall not harm, you shall not take something that does not belong to you, you shall not disturb the harmony of the family or society, you shall not make false claims, and you shall not, get yourself intoxicated with any kind of things. And I think these are the basic things that a teacher should have. And I think a student also carries some element of it, not necessarily all, but because he's in the process of becoming a teacher, he's still a student. But a teacher should have.
Hmm.
If a teacher doesn't have, then he doesn't qualify to teach, because as Vimalakirti says that for you to become a great teacher, because if you want to give nirdesha, so Vimalakirti Nirdesha Sutra means Nirdesha means teaching, right?
Hmm.
If you want to give any kind of suggestions or opinions, first, do you qualify yourself? And there are two things for you to qualify. Vimala means you should be very clean. Okay, absolutely pure in your conduct, in your thinking. And that is Vimala. And Kirti means you should be famous. So materially also you should be rich, affluent only. Then you can suggest.
Hmm.
Without all both things, when you cannot have yourself understanding the Rupa world and the Shunya world, do not become a teacher.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
a teacher is who sees both sides of the world, right? He understands the subject, he has applied the subject, he has made something out of that subject, and then he is going back to teaching the subject. So very, very important. So teachers are basically successful people who have applied the science of that subject into life and brought about a change in their life and the people around. So I always say that teachers are not something that you get a degree from a college and you become a teacher. No, no, no. Teachers are one who have actually done it, actually gone through it. They are the ones who become great teachers. But today education system doesn't have like that. Education system has, you have to pass out through a professorship and then that's it. But who
Hmm.
can teach you the best business? The people who have built businesses. Who
Yeah.
can teach you the best surgery? The people who are doing surgery. People who can teach you the best art are the ones who are actually performing on stage. So the greatest teachers are the one who are doers. But how many teachers do you get like that? No, you don't
Rarely.
get, right?
Rarely.
It's very difficult. So I always believe now better than the school are the programs where people do internships with people who are actually working. And
Yes.
as an intern, a person learns more than what he would learn in a school or a college only from a textbook.
Hmm.
Because textbooks can give you marks,
Hmm.
but marks cannot mark your journey in life,
Hmm.
They do nothing. What marks your journey in life is your doing with under a great teacher. And so here you should understand again, there was something that Buddha used, a measuring container, saying that the world, the existence, and you filled it up, all that, and you give it away. So you might measure something, if that measuring thing is what you're going to transact for something to gain, then that is still not something that is going to offer you some greatness. It is great, but what will be greater than that would be to teach how you were able to achieve that. So at the end, everybody at certain stage in life should be able to share what they have gone through in life. As a teenager, you should become a great guide to the boys who are going to become teenagers, who, because you would have gone. So same is a youth. A successful family person should teach family relationships. So this is a world of about sharing, and this is a world about building teams, because everything is team building, right? When you are a family is what, husband, wife, and kids are a team. A society is a team. An organization is a team. Everywhere where one person comes in interaction with another person to do a certain thing, it's called a team. And as the word goes, together everyone achieves more. That's the whole acronym called team. And when you look at it, you realize that it's only and only by sharing. Okay, once you are able to share without any intention of holding on to even little of that, just give it off without any expectation, then you become a teacher. You become a teacher as a friend, like Krishna was for Arjuna. Okay, you become a teacher like Dronacharya for Arjuna, who is giving away his everything to him. So here you should realize there are teachers around Arjuna to become make him great. His own elder brother who teaches him all the virtuosity, his teacher who teaches him skill. He has Krishna as a friend who's teaching him the dharma. He has his own great grandfather who's teaching him values and traditions. Everybody is teaching everybody in some way or the other. And if you can understand this world is just your school in which you should never stop learning, you will realize that you are on the path of gaining merits which are inconceivable.
Wow. So, I mean, that is the most beautiful note to that you shared with us. And if we are able to realize this, then, but the fact that if this world is like a school, and we gain merits, these merits are for what? Like,
See, so when you gain merits always better your next journey, right? If you realize that every time you're doing something, is this doing is going to make my next doing better, then only there is fun in doing, right? If this
mm,
doing is going to make my next doing worst, if my today makes my tomorrow worst, then
mm,
this today is a foolish day.
mm,
I have I've messed up my day. Now
mm,
people talk about, oh, what then? What about the next life? I said, not next life. Your next life is your next moment. If this moment is good, your next moment is good. You're living a next life every next moment. Your next day is a great life. How can this day make a next day greater, better? Is by doing something good in this day. How can this month make my next month better? How can my this year make my next year better? How can my this phase of life make my next phase of life better? How can this life of mine make my next life, if any, better? That's it.
yeah. I mean, I think that's a much better way to look at it. And then actually, it can be applied. If I think about something like next life, that's very much complicated. That I don't know. But yeah, this moment to next moment, at least, or today to tomorrow, or this year to next year, is much more like, yeah, I can. It's more practical, and that can happen. And if that is what I'm cultivating, and if so and such, if there is like, uh, there are people who believe that this is just one life, but even if this is one and there is a possibility that that might be next one, then at least you'll keep on bettering this life. So of course that is the conditioning you have done over a period of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I also agree to you that there are teachers who are out there who are working in field like you, Dr. Lim, and many more. Because of around engaging in this environment, I have seen there are many more who you can engage and learn much more greater things. Like, the when you are engaging with someone who's already in the field, they will share you the insights that no book can share with you. And this was a question, is a question of many nowadays. Like, many students are asking this question, that if you are a business teacher, where is your Ferrari, or something like that. So where is it, where have you manifested something like that? So and many of the movements have started around the world, that the coaching people are now going for more in this, and also that we may also come up with something like that. So in we'll soon announce it if possible. And but thank you so much for today. We are all almost on time to end our session. So I'll just pause for a minute or two if there are any questions popping in the comment section. If not, then we'll end the session here.
Okay, Dhruv.
Mm, Up until now, no questions here. But sometimes, you get whacked by thinking like this. You should not think they are teachers, in India, because if everything is holy, so you cannot think like that. The way you are also sharing that if you are someone who has to first manifest and then talk about it, not just take a degree out of it and then share about it.
No, but on the other side, those who have studied a particular subject are teachers of that subject. They can make you
Yeah,
understand the
the
literal
subject.
side of it.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
somebody has to teach you the practical side of it
Hmm.
also, right? So you need to know that there are phases and bases on which teachers are coming in your life, and you appreciate their being in your
Hmm.
life.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. Hmm. So I think with no questions, we
No
can end this,
questions.
this
Yeah,
session.
we can end
Okay,
this.
so to take back home, an essence of today's session is you can build teams only and only by sharing what you know with them. And when you share and build people like you around you, you will live in harmony with yourself.
Great. Thank you so much, Rajesh sir, for giving us the time. And we get many lessons. And I think these are more actionable things that we can do. That whatever you know, and that whatever you have cultivated, how you were able to, you can say, do this thing. If you're able to share that with someone, that helps them much more than just giving them one time, two time. That makes them independent actually, and then their possibilities are limitless, their creativity is then unlocked. So a great lesson from today, and thank you so much for sharing this secret of building great teams. I hope so the listeners who are listening to this, or the ones who may listen, this helps everybody out there. Oh, some glitch in the camera, but yeah, that was it, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Rajesh sir, and thank you all for viewing. Namaste and bye bye.
No.
That's it for today.